What is up, everybody? Thanks for checking out Hunt, Shoot, Live. Today I'm super pumped about this episode because I have this posh crossbow in my hands. Got the Dr. Groundhog with me. He has been so kind enough to sling his money at this. Kept me from having to do it, or at least for the time being. Unfortunately, we've not done the test yet, but my preliminary feelings of it, I had already told him it's going to be hard for me maybe to not purchase one of these myself. But this is the Ravin R26 Crossbow. This thing is advertised as being 400 feet per second. Spoiler alert, he did chronograph this and it is shooting at 400 feet per second. This thing feels great and it looks great. We're going to put it to the test today. I know we've all the way out to 80 at least. Maybe 100?
Maybe, yeah. We could probably stretch that out.
It comes with the scope that well, I'll let Brandon tell more about that. I'll let him share all of the specs. But this thing is sweet, and I can't wait to dig in. But he just bought it, hasn't sighted it in. We're going to do all that today. So Brandon, go ahead if you don't mind, and just sort of share a little bit about the Ravin and then the other stuff that that you had to purchase along with it.
Okay. All right. So like he said, Ravin R26 selling points only weighs about 6.5 pounds, 26 inches long. Uncocked, it is approximately 9 inches wide. When it is cocked, it is approximately 6 inches wide. Obviously significantly smaller than most crossbows, and so very maneuverable in a blind, you know, in a tree stand, in heavy brush, that kind of thing. It does come, really the whole package. I mean, you don't really need much. It comes with the illuminated scope, graded reticle from 20 to 100 yards, scope caps. It comes with 6 400 grain bolts with 100 grain heads. It comes with a quiver, and of course it has the crank. You're going to need a crank to crank it. We'll show that later on. But yeah, you know, you're not pulling the string up like you did on the old crossbows. You crank this one up. It kind of takes a little bit of the human error out of it. You can't really torque the string and that kind of thing. Got a lot of safety features built into it. This thing won't dry fire until you have to put a bolt in it, and you have to clip that bolt in it tightly, or it just won't fire. So they're taking there's a little safety feature there. Like he said, I did shoot it through a chronograph at the sporting goods store. It was 400 feet per second on the money. I did actually zero in the center of the crosshair at 20 yards. So it is ready for 20.
We're ready to step it on out.
Right, we have to step it on out to see. So on the scope here, instead of magnification powers, you've got various speeds: 380, 390, 400, 410, 420. You dial in your speed, and then the reticle should be just right for you. Like if you zero at 20, you should be just right for 30, 40, 50, okay, 60 and on. But you know, you might, like anything else, you might have to fine-tune it a little. So now once you've set that, did you set that on 400, and can you lock it in? I don't think you can lock it, but now you might be able to with this little set screw.
That's why I was asking.
I'm not sure. To be honest with you, like Dwayne said, I really haven't shot this thing much. So today we're going at this for the first time. I shot it maybe 4 times in a sporting goods store, enough to get it shot in at 20 yards. And so in theory, with this set on 400 feet per second, and I've already confirmed this crossbow at 400 feet per second, we should be right on the money. So we're going to find out just how accurate these things really are. Hopefully I don't have to tinker with it too much. Of course, shooting that hard, if you shoot this in your regular old McKenzie target, you're never going to get this thing out. So I actually bought a special target here made by Big Shot, the Big Shot Iron Man. You'll see it's just 2-finger removal. I mean, just,
and that sucker is
nothing.
A beast.
Yeah, super heavy, but very easy to remove the bolts from.
I have not picked up a target that's, or an archery target that's that heavy, so it's a beast.
And to protect your investment, Ravin has 2 different case options. I chose the soft case, padded throughout, side pockets here for arrows and various accessories. This was lighter and a little easier, I think, to get in and out of the truck. They do have a hard case, heavier. It's similar to a Pelican, very, very durable. But it was a little too bulky for what I want. But if a man was going to have to leave his bow in the back of a truck very much, that hard case would be the way to go. Or if you're going to go on an airplane with it.
Right, if you're going to fly with it.
Yeah, if you're going to fly with it.
If you're not going to put this in a situation, though, where it's going to get beat up, let me just tell you, this is, I'll show you guys the inside of it. I was very surprised when I picked the whole package up there a minute ago, when he had the bow in it. This thing weighs nothing, but it is really, really well padded.
Oh yeah, the lid and everything, a lot of padding.
So, I mean, not that we would want to, but I mean, I feel pretty confidently that you could put the bow in here and chuck it, and it's not going to damage the bow at all.
It's pretty thick.
So this probably would be my choice, you know, unless you are just going to be really, really rough, or if you're going to fly with it or something, you wouldn't want the hard shell case.
Yeah.
But this thing is really nice, and it weighs nothing, and I like that it's got these backpack straps too. So, you know, you can carry your bow right into wherever you're hunting on your back if you want to. Well, let's quit talking.
Let's get to shooting.
Let's see what this thing's going to do.
Okay. Beautiful. All right, so now, how do we get this thing ready to fire? All right, so it has a crank system built into it, and some safety features built into it that we mentioned earlier to prevent you from dry firing the bow and whatnot. So I'll just take you through the sequence on how you load this thing. Okay, so first off, you have a cranking handle, just sort of magnetic. Fit that on there. Now in the back of the stock, there's a little button, just a little button, little switch. I'm going to crank down on this just a little bit to remove a little tension, and that little button will push forward, and I'm holding it forward. Now, I simply unscrew this, and now you see you got this little slack in this cord here. That means you're ready to attach it to the string. Put my cranking handle to the side. On the back of this capturing device here, I just push till it audibly clicks. You can hear that. Okay. Now, I can let go of that button in the back. And you can hear this. You hear that? It's going to keep making that noise, that click, until I reach where I need to be. And it has a little slip cam in there, and that clicking will stop. You'll hear it. See, it got quiet. Now, take that off. So now we are ready to go. Automatically goes to safety. Now, another option, and I have not tried this, when you are cranking this thing, you can push in on this button and the clicking stops as you're cranking it. However, if you were to let go of that crank handle, it would start spinning in the reverse direction very, very fast, and definitely can damage your fingers. I've seen some pictures online of people that they actually busted their fingers up pretty bad. I think they broke them. They definitely busted them open. So I would not suggest that personally. Some people are worried about that clicking noise if they're trying to get a second shot, but my advice would be zero in your crossbow and only take a decent shot, and the vast majority of the time you will not need a follow-up shot, in my opinion. Oh, so now, as far as loading up an arrow goes, odd fletch down. In this little capture device, there's a little slot, and you can hear a very audible click when you're seated. There's a little click. And so this arrow is really just riding on two Teflon rollers. There's no rail contact. That's another thing that helps add a little speed to it. So with that being said, now it still remains unsafe. We have to choose to put it on fire and take a shot. So let's do that. Nice. All right. So I think we established that we're shooting pretty good at 20 yards.
All right. Well, we'll slide her out. What was the next one? 60?
60 is the next one we're going to try, and then I think we'll have to do a little fine-tuning right and left. Hopefully not much up and down, but we'll see.
Okay.
So this big shot target, the reason I bought it is for easy arrow removal, because nobody likes burning their hands up, you know. So just comes right out. No effort whatsoever.
Nice.
So that's what you pay for.
And that was the 20-yard shots.
That was the 20-yard
nice.
shot. Yeah.
All right, first shot at 60 yards. 60 yards. Whenever you are ready. Ooh, yeah. Just what we thought.
Just a little left, just like we thought. So we're going to have to move that just a little bit.
This scope adjusts left and right. One click is ½ inch at 100 yards. We are thinking that I am about 2.5 inches off. So if we were shooting at 100 yards, it would be 5 clicks. 50 yards, it would be 10. We're a little over 50 yards. So I'm assuming it's somewhere in between those two. I just moved it 8 clicks, you know, so we'll see. I think 7, 8 clicks is going to be about right.
Okay, we are good. Second shot at 60 yards. That was just a fuzz right. You're just off
Fuzz
the
to the
right. Shot number 3 at 60. Yeah,
More
still,
to the right.
Still a little bit right, yeah.
All right, so maybe we moved a little too much.
Gonna try number 4, 60 yards. Ready when you are. Yeah.
Looking better.
Yeah.
And with that wind, the way it is too, we have a little bit of a
That was much
left to
better
right
now.
wind. Yeah, I feel pretty happy given what we've discovered with those other shots.
All right, we are 80 yards. First shot. Man, I have no idea.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
A little bit to the right.
I mean, I was about the flight of it.
Yeah. I'm ready when you are.
Whenever you're ready, let it fly. Oh, yeah.
Definitely a little low.
Just a little.
I will not swear that that's not me, because that looks really far. I can't imagine taking a shot. Well, I just would not take a shot at a big game animal that far, personally. But let's try another one.
Yeah, one more.
Also a little low. Not much.
That's pretty dang good, man.
Yeah, like I said, that one's the.
Just
I think a lot
little-
of that, let's just be honest, is shooter error.
Yeah.
I'm not the greatest shooter.
Ooh, bullseye.
Nice.
Yeah. So the Ravin R26. Final thoughts. You're the owner. You go first.
I'm definitely happy with it. It's strange for me. I actually carry a recurve in the woods most of the time. So this is kind of like giving the Lone Ranger Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's just so foreign to me. I mean, I do have a compound bow and I like it, but I do prefer the recurve. But this did feel a niche or two for me. I have a friend coming in from out west, my good buddy Aaron. He is not traveling with a bow, but he will be here during bow season. So I thought, I would like to have something he could shoot if he wants to go bow hunting. Of course, that's probably not reason enough alone. I mean, a one-time trip to buy a $2,000 bow. But
that's the excuse that all men look for.
right.
If we could just find that one reason,
excuse.
boom, that's right.
But what really sold me, I have some hunting blinds that are pretty tight, and I thought, well, normally I cannot bow hunt from any of my hunting
See,
blinds.
this thing
Oh,
is
yeah.
barely wider than I am.
Yeah, 26 inches, it's nothing.
Yeah.
So it's easy to use out of blinds. My daughter does not have a bow. I don't have any plans to get her a bow right now. So this allows her to go during archery season. And maybe the most important, though, one piece of property that we have, there are some houses pretty close to the property line. And for probably, I'd say going on 10 years now, I have avoided hunting that portion of the property during any sort of gun season. Not because it is against the law for me to shoot fairly close to those houses. I actually can shoot, but it's a little rude to shoot.
Right.
So I don't want to scare them first thing in the morning. This and that. So
Oh, and
I've
I know
just-
where you're talking about. That's wide open right
yeah,
there too.
I've just avoided the area.
Yeah.
But there's some good hunting there, and you know, I've had stands there and blinds there and everything else. So now this will be good for archery season, but also with the range this thing has, I'll be happy using that during black powder or general firearm season.
show you the quiver. It's a quick detach right on the bottom. Just push the knob. It's a quick detach if you know what you're doing. It's not quick if you don't know what you're doing.
The crank handle also attaches under there, although to be honest with you, I plan on carrying it in my pack. I also plan on carrying the quiver in my pack because, as the gentleman who sold this to me pointed out, it would be very easy to pull a broadhead out of this quiver, and if you're awfully close to your strings, I think I'm going to avoid that at all costs. I'm not going to have those broadheads near my strings when I'm pulling the arrow, the bolt, out of the quiver.
This is hard to do with one hand.
I've never done it with any. There it went. I think it's a little magnetic.
Yeah, so that's cool. So you do not have to just leave that laying around or worry about leaving it laying in the... Oh, I mean, I guess you still need to worry about that, but you do have a place to attach it right on the bottom of the bow. So that's your crank, and your quiver can go on the other side. I did want to point out too that, well, just a couple things. So we checked the set screw. It is not a set screw, so we thought that you could tighten this screw down on the scope once you got it sighted in. It didn't do anything. So, but I mean, it seems like that's pretty tight. I don't think it's going to move. And Brandon talked about maybe just like putting a piece of tape on there and marking it right where he needed to be, because we actually ended up sort of between 400 and 425 on where we needed the speed. Something else I wanted to point out, there are multiple places where you could attach a sling. So you definitely could put you a sling on this pretty easily. Got a couple different attachment options. So overall, just as the bystander, I don't know that I will go out and get one. I've got a crossbow that I never use because I use my compound bow. It's a lot of money, but it does exactly what it is advertised to do.
It does.
It absolutely, easily was one shot. I mean, we were killing deer after confirming our one shot at 20 yards. We were killing deer accurately at 100 yards. There was just little differences in fine-tuning the scope. You know, we were hitting less than a pie plate, less than 5 inches at 100 yards. So their system of matching it up with the chronograph, I mean, that really worked really well. And I mean, it's getting them out there accurately, no doubt. Obviously, we didn't have a broadhead, so he's going to have to test it with a broadhead. Right. Just make sure. But you know, if you don't mind paying that cash, you know, I will say this is probably, you know, 3 or 4 pounds lighter than what my crossbow is, so it's very light. You're definitely not going to worry about that. The cocking mechanism was really, really cool. It was no problem at all. Again, if you don't mind paying that money, you're gonna like it. I mean, it's you called it the Ferrari, or you alluded that it would be like a Ferrari. I think that's a pretty good comparison.
I think so too.
We'll call this the Ferrari of crossbows. So, if you want the Ferrari of crossbows, you might try the Ravin R26. It didn't disappoint. Thanks for checking out Hunt, Shoot, Live. Hope you guys enjoyed this archery episode. Be sure to check us out every week. Check out our playlists. Got tons of videos up already. Go to huntshootlive.com. Check out our content there. Appreciate you guys. As always, God bless you. We'll see you next time.